And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm eating a biscuit.
That's John.
That's
Eating
John.
biscuits.
Guys, make sure that you are, let us know about our sound quality because I did get a new headset and new mic to balance out and for the one that was broken. And so I'm just making sure that you can hear us all equally about the same. So I'm trying to test everything out. Welcome to episode 191. We're going to be talking about not only some of the new information that came out about Paizo, which I think is actually some pretty good information. And we're going to be talking about terrain, painting terrain, terrain on a table, what constitutes as good, what constitutes as meh, type stuff for varying games. Not only just one game system, but different game systems.
Well, terrain should be pretty universal to start. You shouldn't have too much game-specific terrain. But more on that when we get to that topic.
Yeah. So, guys, we want to make sure to thank Muse on Minis. Guys, go over and check them out. When you do, if you find something that you like, which they have plenty of things, they have a really good terrain set, by the way, that they're actually going to be reskinning for... They're going to be reskinning this terrain set for their company, and it's kind of infinity, but it's just sci-fi. So, I mean, you could use it for anything, and it's a really good thing. But make sure you use the code MORETHANDICE, all one word, and you can get 10% off your order. Other than that,
Oh, Marshall.
I would
Well
love
played.
to just sing that right now out loud.
go for it,
By all
Kathy.
means.
L. Marshall, give us some quick lyric
and it will be
inspirations.
terribly done. Just,
Go ahead.
well, the overhead lamplight blind you on a painting night tournament. Up ahead, slow me down, making no time. Paintbrush a wiping, slapping out a tempo, keeping perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. Oh, but I gotta keep it rolling. Ooh, dry brushing my life away, looking for a better way for me.
Awesome.
Yay, Kathy, our musical genius of the channel. So for people that don't know, Captain Mizzy and Erica have a lot of our 40K terrain right now. Erica works from home, doing calls for Walmart, and so there's some downtimes, and so she dry brushes terrain is dry brushing the 40K terrain to get it ready. And so I took a bunch of stuff over there to them. And I mean all of my 40K terrain, like 10 tables worth of 40K terrain. Big stuff. So they're working on that. Even more than 10 tables, but easily 10 tables worth of terrain. But they got to get done before Friday, because Saturday I have to go to St. Louis to drop off all of our prize support. I have so much stuff that I've got to take 2 trips to St. Louis to get it there.
Oh, wow.
Have you had to start renting a truck?
Not yet. What it is thankfully Josh, one of the guys that lives there, has a basement, and he's letting us store everything in his basement. So that's been... we might have to next year if we get bigger, and depending on what we're doing. So that we'll just have to see.
So, to go back to that for a second, for Muse on Minis, I did notice, I haven't looked in a while, they do have Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, if that's your jam.
They do.
Cool.
And quite a bit, and it looks quite good, especially because the tokens...
say what they're for. If you look at the Wi-Fi symbol and go, what the fuck's the Wi-Fi symbol? Spoiler, that's done, but I never remember that.
Yeah. They're
Wait,
working on
their
some new
stun
tokens.
symbol is the Wi-Fi symbol?
Yeah. To me, that just means the target's been narked and there about to be missiles raining down on him, but I'm crossing the streams there.
Yeah, they do have a token set. They're working on some new Marvel stuff. I'm sure they're working on a new terrain set for Marvel also to try to help it out, because, of course, Marvel requires good 3D, in my opinion, requires good 3D terrain.
Yes, I think it helps the dynamic so much more, especially with all the guys being so dynamic on their base with their tactical fuckery.
Yeah. So, but they have some good stuff. They also have some, I don't know if they still had it. They had like card inserts that you could put your cards into to keep track of your power and stuff. And I don't know if they were, I know they were refining it the last time I saw it.
Oh, we have news on that too.
Oh.
Gosh. But let's finish that. Gonzo, what are you drinking?
So tonight I am drinking a Macallan 6. 96, I think is what. No, it's a Macallan number 6. It's a special batch of Macallan that is brewed a little bit more fruity and smoother than their normal Macallan. And Macallan's my favorite Scotch anyway, so that's what I'm going with tonight.
Kathy, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a gin and tonic. I also have ginger peach tea from Stash.
Awesome. Well, I have the last of my salted caramel whiskey with a vanilla cream soda.
Cool.
Yum yum.
Shout outs before we give our everything else. John, you have a shout out this week.
Yes, unfortunately, one of our old crew, me and Marshall's old buddies of the Games Workshop, one of the trade rep guys from back in the day, Mike Majors, just passed. It's sad. I didn't see details, not really important, but he did pass this past week. So we're giving a shout out to him. He was always a cool dude. I like to always judge those guys on how they treated me down in customer service. And like a lot of the team, I call it the second wave team that came in with, before Marshall. But at that time, they was all very cool to me. And I appreciate it very much because we got treated like shit beforehand. It was good to have a new generation come in and just treat us like we're people and coworkers. Marshall could tell some stories about that. They were much closer than we were, but still. Shout out to Mike Majors.
Gotcha. I don't know if anything else to give a shout out.
I didn't. None came across my desk.
None came across my desk either. A shout out to all of our fans and everybody that watches and listens. Please make sure that you go get your vaccine. Keep yourself safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. So on and so forth. Because we want to see you at HugCon 2022.
Yep.
And
Also known as Adepticon.
also known as
For
Adepticon.
clarification.
For people like HugCon, they start looking it up. I guess. Cheers.
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 Oh man, this is good.
Oh,
Kathy's choking on it.
a little strong, eh?
Was that peach tea too much?
It's the ginger.
Oh, it's the ginger in the tea.
It's the breathing. It's the trying to breathe it.
Yeah. So they still haven't perfected how to breathe liquids yet. So
No, they're working
working
on
on
it. They're working on it. So, all right. So I'm gonna go and switch over to the paint cam because I'm trying to get this stuff. Everything. You can see my mess that I've been working on. I'm gonna move my camera. And I apologize for having to do the fuzzy background, guys, but something's wrong with our twitching and Skyping.
It's the Skype.
It's the Skype. Yeah, something's going on with the Skype.
fuck Skype.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So I have a bunch of things that I need to. So I have generic Coke machines. I have like 5 of those. Of course, the cars.
I want one that's Orange Crush. Where's my Orange Crush vending machine?
You could just say crush on the vending machine. That would be awesome.
Right?
Well, I found these a long time ago, and they just had Coke on it, so I just went with that.
I know Marshall
the
has
Coke
some.
vending machine is really cool. But just saying.
And then I got
Or an RC Cola vending machine.
Ooh.
these little barrels. I'm going to fix the camera because that camera is having issues.
It doesn't want to focus.
Nope. Well, because they have to, it won't stay. It always wants to go back to autofocus for some reason.
That's weird that... Okay.
I don't know why it does that.
Mine doesn't go back unless I turn off my computer.
Well, I guess our sounds okay. I didn't actually check to see if I should change my microphone or if Skype actually saved a setting for fucking once.
But I will zoom
Yeah,
in.
your sound sounds fine.
Well, then, good. I'll take it.
And everybody else has already said that the audio for the stream is good, so...
It just occurred to me who was doing that I hadn't fucked around with that at all. So If it ain't
All
broke,
the
I
barrels
ain't gonna
look good
break it.
so far. The one on the right.
Is it barrels and tires?
Barrels and tires.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
And then I have barrels and tires on a pallet.
Yeah, pallets look better with something on them. Empty skids are not as
Yeah.
impressive, even though I think
Unless
they
it's
would
like
make.
a artfully stacked stack of skids.
I mean, I could see a single skid, but that would be sort of cool, just like as a throwing. I could see someone winging that like Cap Shield, it just wouldn't come back. It would hit them and bust into 1,000 pieces, and be very
Or
hilarious.
some leaning up against something would also
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
But then I have also the light poles and stuff like that to paint too.
Yep.
So, so I've been doing a lot of painting of terrain to get ready for Warfare Weekend, especially MCP, because MCP, in my opinion, for a good game, requires good terrain, and not just, in my opinion, requires more than what the box set gives you. I like more than what the box set gives you.
I would say, in all honesty, if you both come with the box set worth of terrain, that's probably okay.
Yeah. Now, if you go to a convention, people want to see more cooler stuff. I get that. And so I'm trying to provide that. So I don't know if anybody's seen what I posted on Facebook, but there's, me printing a bunch of terrain. But I wanted to do these. These are just simple 3D prints. All of this is 3D prints except for the cars and the lights. And the tire. I mean, it's just a simple, because that's a size 1.
Yeah, probably size 1.
Type thing. And it just these little things like this on the table make it a whole lot better, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it makes it look like Marshall's got a bunch of boards that are sort of pre-set up that we keep playing on. And we move the terrain a little bit here and there, but it's just got lots of cool stuff on it. So you're like, trees are where trees should be, cars where cars would be parked, trucks are on the road where trucks would be, other stuff is where it makes sense, and we just wing people into it and throw it at people, and there you go.
Yeah, because there's got to be... Okay, so 3D terrain to me is always better than flat terrain. I understand the reason for flat terrain in Privateer Press game or in War Machine and Hordes. I understand it. I got it.
No, I understand the want of it. It's not a need.
Yeah, better is that. But I would rather play with 3D terrain. So I have a friend of mine, Damon Booker. He has the podcast of Minority Report, which they host under us. And they're strictly about War Machine and Hordes and Warcaster. And he bought a 3D printer. And after I got him helping set up with it, he has been printing 3D terrain for War Machine and Hordes. And I'm like, good, we need that. And so he's devised a way to print up 3D terrain and put neoprene mat underneath it. That way, if someone needs to move it, fine, you move it, you're good to go, you're done.
I still do that with forests. Any place that has area terrain, I'll just put down one of the 2D neoprene forests and put the trees on that.
Yes.
That's the outline of the forest, and then those are the actual trees if it matters.
So his stuff, because I worked a deal with him, he said he was going to bring a bunch of that stuff. So he is, since we are doing all of the streaming for War Machine and Hordes this year at Warfare Weekend, and maybe some other stuff that was just, that's what we usually stream, he is going to be bringing 3D terrain for the competition tables. So we will see his 3D printed terrain for the competitions. Which Damon's a really good friend of mine. Been working with him a lot and such, and helping with the podcast. And they're a pretty bunch of fun guys too. But his 3D terrain is going to be there because Privateer Press started making terrain features that are good for 3D terrain. But painting 3D terrain is, in my opinion, something a little bit different than normal.
You mean painting a model?
Yes. In my
I'm
opinion.
not sure I agree with that 100%.
I
would say the only difference in it would be the level of quality you are willing to settle for.
Correct. That's where I'm going with this.
Okay, just making
Because
sure we're on
like
the same page.
yeah, because you could technically spend a ton of time painting terrain.
Like
And
the Daily Bugle from the Marvel set.
Huh?
Because I remember Kathy saying, every time you show a picture, I'm like, oh, that's done. And you keep doing more.
yeah,
And it looks better. That's the thing. It's one thing to keep noodling around on a project and not have it really seem to change much because you're just tweaking it in such minute ways that
Yes.
no one's ever gonna
Yes.
know, and should probably stop. But that was like every time I saw it, it looked better.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's all about, I think terrain is a lot, actually, the terrain should be a lot like a model. You just have your mental image of when it's done, it's done.
Yeah. And
Like-
there's a lot of things that you can add to pieces of terrain, a lot of little details that you could add that you don't have to add. But would it beef it up a little more? Would it make it just that much more interesting? Sure, it would, but I mean, you don't have to.
No, yeah, exactly.
yeah. Because I
And-
mean,
Like little logos and stuff, like you could be putting, biohazard symbols on the barrels or flammable symbols or, any number of things on stuff like that to make them a little more interesting.
Mhm.
But it isn't necessary.
yeah. My point I wanted to go with is if I'm building a table for myself, I'm gonna want to make it look really, really, really cool and really sweet and really nice. For my convention, I'm mass producing terrain. I'm going to have to try to get it out as quickly as possible and still have it looking decent. Kathy, you kind of know this with Adepticon.
Oh, I do, but I'll tell you what. All the Kill Team terrain that I made for the Kill Team tournament tables had Hello Kitty on them in different places on different parts.
But the terrain that you make and you do for 40K for the mass amount of tables, you've got to get it's a ton of terrain. I mean, if you really think about it, if they're doing ITC type standard stuff, there is a guideline, and it's like I think it's 4 large pieces, multi-tier, and forest and all this other stuff that has to be done, and to do like 20 tables is a lot of terrain. You either got to
We
mass
had,
buy it or you have to 3D print it, which is becoming the norm.
Yeah, we had painting parties
Yes.
for Adepticon where we have like a whole weekend. It's almost like a tiny, tiny mini convention with just volunteers who all get together and spend 3 days, an entire weekend, and they stay in hotel rooms, and then we all get together at, this person's place, and there's airbrushes. There's like a bunch of airbrushes out there. So people are airbrushing stuff. Other people are dry brushing stuff. Other people are adding details. And it's like this
Assembly
chain.
line.
Yeah, it's an assembly line.
Mhm.
And over the course of those days, a ton of terrain gets pushed out.
And honestly, we all, as players, take so much more leniency on a tournament's terrain because we're not expecting the world. Like, honestly, this place is doing its tournaments and has actual solid, good terrain for the game. I'm never upset. It takes effort and everything. So, again, you have to, well, honestly, it's with everything. You have to paint the model and the terrain according to what it is. If you need to get an army done quick, you can't be painting, super detailed models. You kind of got to go with just the basic details. Same with terrain. If you got to get your own personal stuff done, like Mo said, you paint it much better. If you're painting stuff mass produced because you're going to have a bunch of people playing a tournament, you get a little more lenient on it.
Yeah, it all depends on how much time you have to spend on it. If you find out at the end that you have a little more time to spend on things, you can go back and, paint Hello Kitty on everything if you want.
We did the same thing when we had the old, if you remember the Mighty Empires tile re-release that they had, I don't know, at this point, a decade plus ago at Games Workshop. We rather than me trying to paint it all or anything like that, I handed a couple sprues out to everyone, and everyone painted a couple sprues of tiles. It all got done super quick. And when you put them all together, sure, there's a little difference in each one, but not so much that anyone really cared.
But that isn't even a problem because there's always a difference from one building to another or one piece of terrain to another. I mean, even in real life.
I mean, unless you're Dave Taylor, sure.
Louise says tournaments, cons also have to be concerned about storage of said terrain, and that is absolutely correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Adepticon has just this year expanded their warehouse space. They have warehouse space.
Yep. And working someplace that offers warehouse space, it's not necessarily cheap.
Oh, no.
I mean, if you've got the right place and you can palletize the stuff well, it's probably not that expensive. But, you still need someone to walk over it and all that. So it's not cheap. I would say for what Adepticon has, I mean, I don't know how many pallets worth of terrain they have, but I'm going to take a wild guess. I'm going to say it probably cost them, if they get a good deal, $300-$400 a month to store it, potentially.
Probably.
I mean, you might be able to get it less, but you'd have to really get a good deal then.
Yeah.
And they absolutely rent a truck to haul that stuff.
Oh yeah, because if you think about it, I mean,
there's so much stuff too. It
Yeah.
isn't even just terrain; it's all the table coverings, and
Mats.
and all kinds of prize support. Well,
Yeah, I
you
mean-
know how much room that takes up now.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff.
And we're
all
for
has to
weekends.
get stored somewhere because you're acquiring like prize support and stuff over the course of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
we're not even near what Adepticon is, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, you just do this. I'm like, it just doesn't work like that.
Just do this is never the answer.
No.
It's never that simple.
No, it was never that simple. To be fair, that's sort of how my company gets around, because our whole motto is we'll do it for you. And a lot of places will love to not have to worry about doing the shit, because it's not, all that stuff's not easy. Like, I know about warehousing, and now having been the other end, I know about the cost of that stuff. So it's all really interesting to see, and puts new light on. People are like, "Oh, ticket prices are so expensive." You don't understand how much cost there are, dude.
Yeah, there's overhead, even
Yeah.
in a nonprofit.
Well, plus you also got to realize, you've got terrain's going to have wear and tear. Even if
Oh,
you
yeah.
seal it the best ever, stuff happens.
Oh yeah,
Stuff breaks
every
all the
year, every year. Not only are we making and painting new terrain, but we're touching up old terrain
Mhm.
every year.
Throwing
And
away
I'm-
terrain that's broke completely and
Yep.
making new terrain.
I am glad that I found in the last 2 decades, gamers have become so much more gentle with terrain.
I think the more you make yourself, the more you realize how much work it is.
Yeah. Well,
And so you are a little more careful. It's not like you just went and got, plastic toys at, Toys R Us although I know sometimes you do
some of that can be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, several of us, at least in this area, we started off with Games Workshop's Battle Bunker, and they always had terrain there, so people didn't get a second thought. In fact, we had to basically kick a kid out because to keep his Tyranids on a hill, he's just jabbed their tail into the hill.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, he got a hell of a talking to after that. But you're like, but he wasn't giving any thought. It's just it's just terrain. Nowadays, people are like, they know how much time goes into terrain. They're like, oh yeah, let's be careful with that. When we were younger, we were like, oh, I throw the Coke machine, you just sort of toss it off the table. Now we're like, I throw the Coke machine, gently place it over in the toss terrain
It's like
area.
my friends and I, back when we played 3.5, when their kids started playing with us, we had all the models. Jim and I painted up the models for all the characters, and they're metal, and the kids treated them as if they were like Dave's, the plastic pre-painted D&D models you get.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's like, no.
No.
They're the hand painted ones with the weapons that bend because it's pewter.
Yeah. They're not bending because as a feature, it's a bug in this case.
It's a plague.
But yeah, they'll bend.
Do not crush the models together, you know.
Nope. To be fair, when I did villains for D&D, I just had box O. Generally unpainted models with maybe a handful of painted ones I'd be more careful with. Otherwise, I don't fucking care. I did love the D&D models for that, though, because literally I'm like, back in the box, fucker. I don't care.
Aw. Yeah, it is refreshing to be able to do that.
But yeah, I mean, as a miniature gamer, if you look at something and you know it's painted, you're like, nope, nope.
Yeah, also touching someone's miniatures that, Oh.
Ah, Bowie. Bowie says, or you toss Doc Ock to the side because he was KO'd. Then he falls to the floor. Oh, wait, that was me.
He
Or you
did
could be Kathy, who's holding the model in her hand and rolls triple skulls on a reroll of triple skulls and smacks her hand down on the table with the model and just breaks it off the base. But that's the one that wasn't pinned. So
I'm not going to name any names, but there's a guy who had a beautifully converted high elf team out of the Shadow Warriors from Mordheim when they came out years and years ago. One of them got killed, and he literally picked it up and he chucked that at the wall, and it exploded.
Oof.
His own miniature, though?
His own model.
Okay.
Oh, he would never, ever do that to someone else's model. Like, that would not happen. And I think a lot of us are like that. None of us would ever throw someone else's model, but we'll throw our own, because, damn it, if I fuck it up, it's my own fault.
Oh, we had to kick someone out because of that.
Throwing their own models or someone else's?
Someone else's.
Oh, well, Gonzo, you wouldn't have to kick them out with me. You'd have to call the police.
Yeah. It was a pretty bad thing.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, people have gotten a lot better with it, I find, over the years.
Yeah, because people are starting to realize how much time and energy it takes to get things done. I mean, I have been working on all of our terrain, and I've been just doing it as quickly as possible just to try to get it out. Because, I mean, I have a job and all this other stuff to do, and I spent all day yesterday painting up all of our terrain. So I did Friday, that's what I did Saturday. Friday after I got off work.
Should have streamed it.
Yeah.
That's content.
Yeah, it was just trying to get it done.
Well, maybe as Twitch loosens the music rules, it might be a little better.
Yeah, I had to play music.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I mean,
Although, as long as you turn off the VODs and clips, I think you can play music.
Well,
in the background.
they started relaxing that, and there's going to be a pre-approved like lists and all this other stuff to stop all that issue, which is good.
As soon as that hits, I think it'll be a lot more interesting for that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that's best done, as Kathy said, assembly line, a group, if you can get a bunch of people together and just go.
Yeah.
Make an event of it.
What was it? I think Marshall did it a couple of years ago. He needed to get our models painted for Adepticon, actually. So he had, we just all came over like, all right, what do you need? Like, I started late, like, what do you need? So he's like, just do this. So I'm just painting on models, like here, painting the bits he says. Here's those bits, goes to someone else. They do the next step. Just fun while hanging out. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, all the guys, there was always a joke of playing a army that had like 800 hobgoblins in it.
Oh my God.
And the guys were like, John, if you purchase that army, we will help you paint them all to play in a tournament because we want to see that shit. That kind of stuff like terrain. Your buds will get there. Bowie's been painting terrain and leaving it at Marshall's place for us to play. It's great because Marshall's got a crap ton of terrain painted now. I need to get back on painting some terrain. I've just been painting so many models. Got a little head on the models I haven't painted. You'll paint it later. Jesus, leave it alone. It's fine.
As long as he gives his slaves beer and pizza, it's fine.
No, how about homemade chili?
Or homemade chili, even better. Or better yet, fire up the barbecue.
He has done all of those things. And let me just tell you, that chili, fucking A.
Come on, chili.
It's really good. Well, Kathy, you have to make your way out here sometime. Might be able to convince El Marshall to make chili.
I need to do my tour of the East Coast, apparently.
Yep. That is true. Marshall cooks for all of us, and there's a dedicated fridge for drinks. We all bring drinks when we can, and occasionally someone will bring in food and all that. You know, we're all like functioning adults.
Potluck.
Not potluck. He cooks. I mean, because he'll grill.
It's one of those Minnesota things. I don't know. Do
Oh,
other people
potluck.
do that?
Yeah,
Oh,
potlucks.
yeah.
I've heard of a lot of people role playing groups doing potluck type things.
Oh yeah.
Ha! Live stream the tour, says Bowie.
Or record it. That'd be a good YouTube series. Kathy tours the East Coast.
I don't have a YouTube channel. Not really.
You can Twitch it.
You don't have one yet.
Yet. Because it is a smart thing to do.
Yep. Get your brand out there. Expand in the social mean, not the physical mean. We don't want to expand. We want to contract a little bit.
Yeah. It's hypnotic watching Gonzo paint the black on the windows, I have
Yeah.
to say.
It's cool. Well, should we go to a part 2 topic, or the one I thought we were going to go with first, but you
Yeah,
went
I
right
just kind of went in then. So yeah, go ahead. I'm like really entranced by doing this, so go ahead and go with it.
Well, you wanted to go with it, but I only briefly perused it, but I do have insight.
Yeah.
Uh,
Kathy brought it up to us, and then we all saw it and all read it, and kind of went with it. So, the Paizo workers unionized. I don't know the full details. I just thought it was interesting that Oh, hey, look, ears are going off. An hour's up. Anybody gonna put it? 5,
Hey, I
4,
already spent my channel points.
3.
I redeemed my channel points for another hour.
Hey
There was
Siri,
no cooldown. My channel points were taken.
set a timer for 1 hour. Okay, break from the norm. John paid it. Y'all are saved this once.
United Paizo Workers
Yes.
is
Mhm.
what their union is called.
Which, really thinking about it, I wouldn't even think about that, because did they say how many workers that are there?
Over 30.
Which is interesting, because usually it's like large groups of people, hundreds of
Well,
people that would do it.
So they have support from the Communication Workers of America,
Okay.
which is a media labor union.
Okay. I just
So-
didn't think that there was, I'm used to hearing about it as like, hundreds of thousands of people trying to get, unionized. Cool. No
well,
problem.
to sound like that guy, that's what the man wants you to think.
Correct.
Yeah, to think that a small business or a business with only 30 employees or 50 employees or 20 employees or 15, you can form a union.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely can form a union.
Absolutely can. And if you're not getting treated properly, you absolutely fucking should.
Yeah, and even if you are getting treated properly, this will ensure that you continue to get treated properly.
Correct.
Because you never know who the next,
Boss.
officers of the company are going to be, if they're going to act the same way, or if your company changes owners. What are they going to do?
Absolutely. So, I actually asked one of our buddies, when just moved back to the area, who used to work for Games Workshop at a high level in sales, and also worked for Asmodee or FFG / Asmodee at a high level in sales for a while, what his thoughts were. And he doesn't really think it's going to catch on. He doesn't think it's going to make any big waves in the industry. Just because it is such a small amount of people, most of the companies aren't reporting this kind of problem that would require it. And also, a lot of the companies, like Asmodee is a European company, they already get better benefits because of that. Now, granted, it doesn't mean they couldn't also have a union and get better benefits, but like inherently, it's like Games Workshop's UK company. They already give you better than you would get in the US inherently.
Or it just ensures that you keep getting the benefits you get and they aren't taken away from you.
Well, they have different laws in the UK and all that, so it becomes like the low end
I mean, in
bar is
general,
way
yeah.
higher in Europe than it is in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Let's not get political on this, or more political. Oh yeah, so it was interesting to hear his take that he doesn't think it's going to make that big of a splash in there. Because I was like, hey, is this going to make a big splash? You know, WotC, you know, Games Workshop, whatever. And he's brought up good points. Like, no, not really. A lot of those places, because I mean, America's at will. They just be like, you try to unionize, they just. I mean, it's a tough industry. They can just get rid of everyone and just get new people.
Yeah. Which has
Especially
happened.
someone like GW, where they're like, you know, they're. And this is a funny thing. If you wonder why you're not seeing a lot of great innovation from Games Workshop right now, he points out that they've had 80% like-for-like growth on 40K. They're not going to put anything into it. If it's just fucking growing 80% with no effort, keep the no effort and put the effort into something that's not growing. Which is a great point. So everyone who wants to see those cool new Eldar models that we haven't gotten in 30 years, stop buying their shit.
What?
I know, right? Vote with your fucking dollar. But so yeah, so it is good to see them doing that, and it should help diffuse a. It's a better resolution of this toxic situation than I ever thought would happen. How about that?
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. But I mean, most of the companies don't have this problem really. Even WotC that has its problems, one of them is not that kind of toxicness in there. But that's probably because they were owned by Hasbro, a bigger company that's just like already should have that shit together theoretically. Oh, and Bowie, you can't really have Dungeon Masters and Game Masters unionized. We don't fucking get paid. We don't need to unionize. If you guys aren't good to us, we just fucking stop running games. Oh, and I want to put something now. Kathy, I think you should get the Space Marines Chibi Advent Calendar.
There's a such thing?
There is such a thing.
As she goes and searches for it and orders it promptly.
Are you waiting for... Yeah. No, I'm not ordering that.
No?
That's awesome. That would be
It is.
amazing.
It is really cool.
But not your thing?
Oh, yeah. That's totally my thing. I'm not ordering it, though, because I'm not made of money.
What?
I don't go out and buy every cool thing I like. I know, it's a shock, but, you know. That's how budgeting works.
No, I'm an adult. I'm supposed to be able to go out and buy all the cool things that I want. I was promised it'd be better when I'm an adult.
I'm just happy I get to eat whatever I want now.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. I don't buy everything I want either. I didn't buy that Unicron. It was slightly pricey, and we didn't really have space for it.
It's an awesome model, though.
Yes.
So. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because it was just kind of out of the blue.
Yeah. Again, it was one of those things where you would never expect it to end. Well, I mean, hate to say it bluntly, that well.
Yeah.
And suddenly, it did.
I imagine it's a thing that's been going on for a while, and they were just, keeping it under wraps a bit until they were ready to make an announcement.
Well, I mean, you don't get paid a lot in the gaming industry to begin with, so I mean, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I think that was the part I was more interested about because, paying people in the gaming industry is and actually he brings up a good point. In a lot of those industries, you're not, like even at the higher levels, the higher companies, you're not learning a lot of marketable skills to go on with your life.
No.
You're learning them in a very specific manner for what you're doing there. So, I mean, that's why so many good people leave the game industry and go to real companies because they want to get marketable skills and they don't get paid enough.
Yeah. I've interviewed for a few companies, and a few gaming companies recently because, I'm looking for a new job. And the amount of pay that they tell me for their positions, I'm like, really?
And you require what?
And you require what? A 4-year degree, 3 years of experience, and you're paying $30,000 to run an entire department?
That's a joke. It's a bad joke.
Yeah. I'm like, we gotta have a
They
talk.
need to be closer to double that than not. Actually, I'd say
That's
double that is.
insane. I got paid only a little less than that for folding T-shirts at the T-shirt place I worked at, where there were 8 employees.
I was very shocked at one position, which was running a shipping department. And they wanted XYZ and control all the shipping for one, and they were paying $30,000.
No. Hey, wow, that was easy.
Yeah. And I told them that. I told them the reason, too, and I wasn't rude or anything. I was like, no. You're asking way too little.
So here's the thing is
Hi,
I
Josh.
could do that. I'm 100% qualified for that job. I've done very close to similar to that myself. And let me just tell you that
No.
yeah, no. You said 30,000 a year?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, what's funny is, I've been looking at some stuff that's remote. And I get that a remote position, you're not going to get paid as much.
That's not true.
But I can understand it. I can understand some drop in pay if I'm not coming in and stuff like that. I can understand that, and I can go with it a little bit, but not that much of a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Now, first off, I wouldn't want to try and run a shipping department and not be present. But should you do that, that's $14.42 an hour, Gonzo.
Yeah.
It's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
I can get you more being a entry-level customer service rep at my company. I can get you more than that.
Yeah. I don't think they realize that, and that's
with zero actual experience in customer service. But honestly, everyone actually has some experience in customer service because they've had to deal with it on one end or the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's a bad joke.
Yeah.
Double bad joke if they want a degree.
Yeah. Oh, there's been times I've seen. I saw one advertisement. This person said, "Hey, we want you to interview this position," and I said, I looked at the job and I was like, I don't have a master's degree. I only have a bachelor's. And I'm like, well, we're gonna waive that, but this is what we want. And then I was like, what's the pay? Oh, starting out is $28,000.
Fuck right off.
I was like, really?
So Marshall just noted that his 18-year-old makes $14 an hour in an apprenticeship program. Yeah, but that's I mean, not to get political, that's not really our normal oeuvre of topic, but this is all going to come to a head, and it's all going to change.
Yeah.
It is the next big crisis in America. So,
People are going to have to start paying for what they want.
Hmm.
And
I mean, there's an easy way to cut costs of companies. That CEO really worth all those millions?
Spoiler, the answer is probably no.
oh, there's many companies I worked for. Like one company, we were like, you can't work 40 hours a week because we have to cut budget. You have to work, less. Oops, made a mess. And I was like, oh, well, shit. Okay. Do I, keep my job? Yeah, you still get to keep your job, but just a few hours. And then all of a sudden, the CEO and managers have got a bonus of, whatever. And they're like, oh, well, that's in their contract, so we have to give it to them. I says, my contract says I work 40 hours a week. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm not really. Yeah, it'll be in there. We're good. And honestly, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come to a head, but I'm glad that some of the guys in the gaming industry are getting what they should.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't have to live in poverty just because they're making games. There's a lot of money in games.
But They have to sell it for $2 billion, so of course it's they have to just make up that money somehow.
They'll work it out. But how about this? The Taco Bell near us gives $15 an hour base, it looks like. Sure,
Yeah.
their prices have gone up a tiny bit, but you know what else has gone up? Their fucking service.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm okay with it. I will pay a good rate for what I want to get, and we need to look at that. But yes, Standard Voice of the Degree has gotten out of hand. It has. And
Yeah.
someone said, like, to pay people properly, you'd have to have an X increase on role-playing books. Like, first off, you're wrong, because it's divided over the cost of all the books, and there are places they can also cut costs. And we're all willing. Like, we all pay $50 for a role-playing book right now without batting an eyelash, really.
Yeah.
We buy the ones we want. We don't buy the ones we don't want. What's 55 if it means they get a fucking living wage? Just make sure the money's getting to the right person.
Yeah. Don't increase it to 55 and then they give the CEO a bonus.
Exactly. I mean, I'm willing to pay a premium price for a premium product and knowing that a company's paying people good money,
Yep. So, let's talk. Let's go back on the topic of terrain as we got off our. Let's make sure
You're
we
the one
pay
who
people.
jumped right into terrain. I thought this was going to be
Yeah.
the first topic and then talk about terrain.
Yeah, I did, and I was getting excited. So terrain for games. Certain games, like I says, do better with more terrain, aka Infinity.
I would say almost every game out there does better with more terrain.
Correct.
Really, yeah. It makes it more interesting. I can't stand a boring game where all you do is either shoot each other from across the table or just run up to each other and that's it. And there's no maneuvering or strategy or anything about it.
No
Boring.
tactical movement.
So you don't like old fantasy games.
If that's what old fantasy games were like, then
Where you
you're
set up and
correct.
there's there's a little piece of wood over here, a little piece of wood over here, a hill here, and nothing in the center. Now, while to a point it makes sense that you would choose that ground to meet an enemy on, you don't always get to choose your ground.
Right.
So I do like more interesting too. I mean, I've played games where there was a big forest. I'm like, I'm gonna use that forest to cover my flank. Because now that big unit of fuckheads can't get through that forest easily, and I don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah, but I mean, some games you have to have it, or the game. Like I said, I'm gonna go back to Infinity, the infinite line of destruction.
Oh yeah,
because you got the guns.
You got to have terrain in Infinity because there are some weapons that would have not quite tabletop range, but functionally tabletop range.
Yeah. Oh, you're only 42 inches instead of 48 inches.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. You're
Oh,
right.
diagonally it could be more, but yeah, terrain's important in that game. Also because cover's important in that game. In fact, honestly, we've been harping on GW for years for having substandard terrain rules. They sort of overcorrected when the last edition of Fantasy came out. And I can say the last edition because it was the last edition.
Yeah, it was.
They did all these cool terrain things, haunted forests and shit like that did stuff. And all the super serious fantasy players like, this is bullshit. What is this bullshit? Blah, 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 blah. And GW has overcorrected to the absolute shittiest and most generic terrain rules ever. Asterix, I've not actually seen the current edition of either Age of Sigmar or Fantasy or 40K, but they're not great as far as terrain haven't been for years. Wisdom Design, yes, the Marvel Crisis Protocol does have very good terrain rules. They're very simple for the most part. But it needs to be because we throw shit at people all the time.
Yes.
You
Throw.
could literally have a used car lot, and at the end of the game, I guarantee you, there will not be that many cars left. We're
There
gonna
shouldn't
knock
be.
people into them. We're going to be throwing cars. I'm like, throw a car. Fuck it. When in
I
doubt,
like the idea of a used car lot.
I think Marshall was looking at that as a potential. Use one of the construction trailer as the office and everything. But even that, you can totally have different types of vehicles. But yes, so Xander Rose says, I hate how War Machine has bland terrain. They had solid terrain rules, but yeah, they did very bland terrain, and people sort of evolved that way. People got sort of up in arms because I let my buddy the Jason set up terrain for War Machine and Hordes. Like, well, we can't all get through every place. Well, yeah, welcome to fucking terrain, fuckhead.
If the Hulk is not going to be able to get through a place that a smaller person can get through.
I've done that purposefully. I've been like,
unless he smashes it.
I've taken a base and go, okay, so guys on the medium-sized bases can make it through here. Oh, Hulk and all can't fit through. Sounds good. There needs to be more of that. Playing Infinity use Carlot, that'd be interesting too. Especially Xander Roller, if you'd have rules where like explosions all could blow up the cars. That sort of thing we've lost too in that is we're so focused on, and this is an evolution, it's not anyone's fault. I'm not throwing stones yet. We've gone from the cool rules for stuff to need to be able to play a pickup game in the local store without any problems. So we've lost a lot of those cool stuff, where people would say like, hey, if I shoot this, does it blow up? Sure, it blows up. That kind of thing. That beer and pretzels basement game where you can do all that cool stuff. That's sort of gone away, unfortunately. But again, it's done that just because that's sort of the environment we've gotten to. We went from playing in our basements in our homes to playing in game stores, and now we're sort of going to this mix where we play a little bit everywhere. So we need to make sure we're looking at that when you're doing stuff, And I think the companies have sort of gotten away from it too. I mean, hell, for fuck's sake, War Machine Horror Charger Press doesn't even have fucking an actual general scenario, or even cool scenarios. Like even just having some cool stuff in your book for scenarios would be great.
Yeah, they have some story related stuff, but there's not like generic 101.
Well, you don't even necessarily generic, and it's all very binary scenarios. Both sides relatively equal. I mean, you need to have the scenarios that are kind of one-sided with all sorts of terrain, and all cool stuff in there. They're related. I said this a couple times. Me and a buddy who now lives in Texas played basically a version of Zulu for 40K where it was Praetorians, Imperial Guard versus Orcs, just like the Zulu thing. And it was the most fun ever. We had all like farmhouse, and they had all the barricades and stuff. And I just came across the open board. There was towers for snipers and all. It was great. Special rules for scenarios, special cool terrain for it. But we sort of gotten away from that to sort of generic. What do you need? Oh, well, every table needs 2 forests, water feature, a building or 2, maybe a couple walls. It's gotten very cookie cutter, and we need to get away from that.
Do you think it's because the games are becoming more... Everybody's getting more for competitive play?
Yes. Absolutely. Because they can't just have fun and just have a fun game. They need to be competitive. And it's a fault to a point of certain games that just cater to that. That was their bread and butter, so they cater to it. Yes, I am definitely throwing stones at War Machine Hordes right now, in case you're wondering. They cater to it, because that was the thing. That was their bread and butter. We're the competitive game. Absolutely, they were. But everyone else tried to emulate that, so some of them got out of there, and it was a little weird. Now, Infinity's been a little outside the box. They've had cool stuff for a while. Malifaux's train rules are extra complicated, but if you use them all, they're fine. It's just a little more work than you necessarily want sometimes. And they've always been a big one for making cool scenarios and all. I haven't seen any a bit, but then again, honestly, it's all been a little quiet for a little bit. But I think it's all terrain. It's all hand in hand, the terrain plus scenarios and all. It becomes the more cookie cutter competitive you get. No one gets an advantage because X, Y, or Z. Sometimes that happens. Oh my God, you might lose a game because your opponent had a bonus. That shit happens. Don't get upset about it. Just fucking deal with it and move on.
But it's my
Yeah.
life.
Marshall says, terrain ain't there to be fair. It's there to impetus to make choices with hazard or benefit. Random should be random. Absolutely. That's why one of the things I loved about War Machine Hordes was that if you won the die roll, you could choose to go first, or you could choose your side.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, I can't have this side. I'm going to choose the other side. Hey, that's great. You've put that in the actual game. It becomes a point of contention. Do I want to choose my ground, or do I want to have the initiative? 40K should. I think 40K actually does that also. I think all the games have gone to that. But that's a good rule for that, for anything where you have bigger armies. Something like Malifaux and Marvel. Actually, I could see that being a good point in Marvel as well. It probably is. We just don't. We just stand outside the table and play because we're just having fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it like in Marvel after the scenario set up. You're like, "Ooh, crap! I can't climb those buildings as well to get that objective.
Or
I'm gonna have to concentrate on those objectives instead."
Or I like the way the terrain is closer on this side to the thing because I can do shenanigans. Or I want it further because I'm going to be playing in your fucking face and I want the terrain right there so I could bounce it off said face.
Or I have the Web Warriors and I don't give a damn about terrain.
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely things in there. And I like when you make that there because it works hand in hand. Yeah, so Bowie has confirmed that is a rule. Player without priority picks table edge, which makes sense. Most games like that. But that's a good rule. That's a good byproduct of what War Machine and Hordes did way back in the day. I think 40K did it about the same time, maybe. So, but I think that's great, and that can definitely help a game and help you want to put more terrain out there. And I think more games should make... If you have a choice between making last edition 40K terrain, I'm going to say last edition because I'm more familiar with it, where it was just super duper fucking generic. I don't want to say it was necessarily bad, but it's generic and boring.
Yeah, it was like, oh, okay, I don't care about the terrain.
If you choose between that and you have a choice and say something like Malifaux, where it's very specific. This terrain is height 3 and blocking and hazardous. It all has keywords. You know what it does, but you have to think about it. Go with the more detailed one because it's going to be more fun in the end. Because if you don't use it because you're having a fun friendly game with somebody, it doesn't fucking matter. But it's there to use it. You can always not use details. If you don't give us the information, most people aren't going to take the fucking effort to figure it out for them fucking selves. I'm stopping because I don't want to get in a rant because it's almost time for media section.
But no, I mean, terrain is, I mean, we've gone over a terrain thing before where it's very important. But I like that a lot of games are 3D terrain. It is causing a little bit of more of an issue for like conventions and stuff. They've got to scramble more, which I get it.
Yep. And honestly, 2D terrain for convention, I mean, I understand I'd want to have it, but I can understand when you've got to have so many tables. It's just the temptation to having just that is understandable.
Oh, yeah. Type thing. And like I says, there is a group dedicated, going back to the War Machine and Hordes, to making 3D terrain for War Machine and Hordes. And I'm like, good, that's what we need. And that's the reason why I was like bringing it up, because my friend Damon is printing a table for just that. And he's got a table for like all the new terrain and a table for all the basic terrain type thing. And it's all 3D with neoprene mat underneath it. So in case it needs to move for whatever reason.
Yeah. And honestly, when you take a step back from your mindset of playing that competitively, it was always kind of boring. That was always the same fucking terrain. Like, okay, look, you bought 17 of the Museum Minis packs, which is cool that it's there, but it takes some of the excitement out of things. You know, remember the days when you go to a tournament and you see that cool table, you're like, I fucking want to play there. Nowadays, or back when I was playing more competitively War Machine Hordes, I've been like, I don't want to play there. That's complicated. You know, Jan Flange, the Devil Spit, made a table out of just walls for War Machine Hordes. And now he made careful to make it so there's places, because I'm like, you know, if someone's got a Colossal or something, it could be a problem. He's like, yep. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
I actually won a game based off of that. I had a guy that was playing 3 Colossals, and the table had a ton of walls, and he couldn't move. And I'm like, sucks to be you.
Yep.
I'm going to pick this side. Oh, you can't come over here and win?
I had to play on that as well. And now he was a little more lenient. There was place to move, but there were places that you couldn't easily get. And honestly, I think we need more of that. Like Marshall said, it's train it there to be fair. It's use the ground. So, anyways, it's media section time. That's a building. Kind of
building.
blurry.
You can't see it. I'm gonna be taking all my buildings that have open windows and putting blue cellophane behind it and tea lights inside of it.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll do good. I haven't tested it out, so I'm hoping it'll do good and it'll look decent.
Well, I think if you need help with that, you should message on Marshall because he is good at that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the tea lights are strong enough to go through the blue. I took a really light blue. Switch over.
Media section.
Sorry about my camera. I'm sorry. So, I did not watch a lot of movies. I watched a lot of small stuff. But I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to talk about. No movies, though, so it's all small stuff.
Huh.
I can see John. I can feel the eyeballs on me.
Actually, only one right now. I mean,
The other one's over here.
yep, it's looking at the laundry.
So,
I have 2, 3, something like that.
Okay.
Kathy's got at least 2.
Two.
okay.
No, Mo, I don't think any of us watched Wellington Paranormal. If it was Gonzo. He's shaking his head no.
No.
Sorry. To be fair, though, I'm still catching up on all
Never even
sorts of
heard
things.
of it. I don't know what
He
that
mentioned it
is.
last week.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with just a quick and easy one. The new episode of Foundation came out, which says it's on Apple TV, so sorry if you can't watch it. It's my new favorite. I look forward to this show every single time, and I am glued. You know me, I usually have to do something while I'm watching TV. Can't with this. My phone is down. I'm all in it. I am loving the history. I am loving the characters. I am loving all of it. And I am completely in love with the show. I am half tempted to get the books, but I really don't want to. But because I know this is only based on the books, and I just don't want to kind of move anything. But I'm loving the history in the world. I think it's amazing. It reminds me of when I first started watching, what's the other space show?
The Expanse.
The Expanse. When The Expanse first came out, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'm getting the same type of feeling. Which there's a new season of The Expanse already coming.
I still need to catch up on the last one.
Yeah,
I
they
haven't
announced a new one.
watched the last one either. Now that I
Yeah.
think of it.
I'm
Yeah.
a slacker. It's been weird.
Yeah.
Like, well, Kathy will sympathize. Almost like streaming Star Wars this week takes a lot of your free time away.
Yeah, weird.
So I've really been enjoying it. I think it's a great. The production value is amazing. Costumes, special effects, everything. I'm all for this show. I'm glad it's got a second season already. I can't wait to see where this goes. I hope it's Dune. Because by the time this is done, Dune should be out. And so I'm like, oh, another good, hoping, fingers crossed, that's another good sci-fi. So, zero
so
space
we wanna-
RPs for me right now.
Cool. Do we want to talk about all the DC stuff, or we want to save that for the last?
Let's save it for last because I have all of those also.
Okay.
The
So,
DC fandom that came out.
Well, then you guys want the rant or the non-rant?
Ooh, let's go with the rant first because I like Happy John at the end.
Cool. I watched the next episode of What If?
Which one was this one?
What If Ultron won?
Okay, gotcha.
And unfortunately, early in it, there was a moment that completely took you out of it, and I would say killed my enjoyment, but it made me definitely fucking enjoy it less.
I can see that.
Slight spoiler, and this isn't really a spoiler because it happens so early in the episode. It's when Thanos shows up and Ultron just cuts him in half. I'm like, oh, fuck off. It's so fucking stupid. Seriously. Like, I can understand making little things happen just to get your narrative, but fuck you. That is not even remotely cool. It is stupid to the extreme, and it completely took me out of the episode, which is bad because the intro was great. I'm like, oh, this is cool, and then that happened. I'm like, oh, fuck off. I'm done with this shit. Like, I'm sure it was probably a fine episode, but I mean, I liked having Toby Jones come back to reprise his voice for Arm Zola, which is great. I like the overall idea of it, but it just that took me out so much. I was just fucking done. And I think, if anything's so far, I would say this is the worst of the Marvel series that have come out.
The zombie one was weird, Xander. Yeah.
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
care
like
for that one either.
zombies, but I also hate how zombie things all have to make everyone become fucking stupid for them to become remotely. And there's so much Deuces Machina to get in there. Like, oh, you're traveling a train out of New York, and suddenly Captain America's there? Of course he fucking is. Randomly out of nowhere. No, fuck off. 4. Fucking 4 shots of... I'm sorry. No, 4 shots of Kraken. I'm going to the old school. 4 shots of Kraken for that fucking episode. 4 space herpes. Fuck you and your fucking bullshit. Don't be so fucking lazy when you're writing your goddamn episodes. How do you write something that ended so well, like Vision Scarlet Witch? Like I said, I saw the last episode. That was very cool. Really good moments in there. And then you get Falcon Winter Soldier. Amazing. Fucking great. I like it more than Loki. And Loki's fucking great, too.
Oh yeah.
How do you just we can't figure out how to get from A to B. Fuck it. He cuts him in half with the Mind Stone. Yeah, fuck you. That's so fucking dumb.
Is it DUM dumb?
Yes. Kathy, what's your first one you want to talk about?
I went to the IMAX on Monday and saw Daniel Craig as James Bond.
Oh,
That was my first time in the theater in, well,
2 years.
yeah, just about. So, yeah, it was fun to see on the IMAX, and IMAX is the film it was made on.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a little bit extra, around the edges and everything that I got to enjoy seeing it that way. Like, I'm gonna remember it if I go to,
Yeah, but still, it's the
see it on
experience.
TV. But yeah, it was big and it was loud and there was lots of explosions and it was James Bond. Although there were a few surprising things, and I don't want to spoil things for people because I mean I hope other people are planning to go see it or see it at some point.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on seeing it.
Oh yeah.
It
mean,
was a
not-
nice way to end it for Daniel Craig, Xander. I agree. I am interested to see what they decide to do going forward. I know they're going forward. Obviously, there's going to be another James Bond, and it said so at the end of the credits. So, but what direction will it go in? Who knows? Daniel Craig looked good.
Zero space herpes, I'm guessing.
Zero space herpes.
It's
Nice.
cool that for a change they made it like a continuous, almost Bond story.
I mean,
so out of the norm for them.
it was weird, yeah. But Christoph Waltz is amazing. But
Well-
I still have a problem with that whole thing,
Yeah,
which
but, like,
was
Christoph Waltz
his-
is amazing, but it's just like the character. You're
the
like,
character
fuck you,
fucking with-
fuck right off with it.
fucking with James Bond. It's like you're cutting Thanos in half thing.
Yes,
It's like, really, this is the guy who has been the reason why James Bond's life has been so miserable forever. It seemed like a cop out. It was like, and then they woke up.
it's lazy writing. It's lazy. They do a little bit too much.
The
of that.
whole movie of Spectre. That's what it was, and
It's such
in
it's like,
in
fuck
some
right off.
small way, it continued into this one, but only in a small part.
Yeah.
So there was more other stuff going on.
but thumbs up for continuity, because
Yeah.
don't give a shit. It's good to have a movie give a shit.
Well, they invented the continuity inspector and then just carried that on.
Yeah, fair. But still, that whole series has been about continuity for the most part.
I don't know if the Xander says I think Bond now idea is so outdated, but the Kingsman does it successfully, and that didn't seem outdated to me at all.
I think that Bond tried too hard to become Bourne, because Bourne hit and was like amazing, and everyone's like, we need to be that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you can be
It
your own thing.
became gritty.
Yeah, but that's what Kingsman proved, because they were worried, like with Austin Powers, you can't be silly and funny anymore. You can be funny and potentially silly, but still be taking yourself seriously. And that's the thing people need to learn, is if you take yourself seriously.
Kingsman is its own thing. It's in a genre, though.
Yeah, it is part of that genre.
It was influenced. The writers were influenced by James Bond, by Austin Powers, by Our Man Flint, and any others.
Yeah, but she said she's going to watch those soon coming up. She's going to have some Our Man Flint, and then some Kingsman, and some what are the ones you were mentioning? Hold on.
Well, it was the Austin Power and
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
So,
since I finished all the James Bond.
Yeah, it's good to have a theme. I might start doing that as well. I've got a bunch of movies I can theme up. I just got to get time to watch more than one movie in a week. Speaking of not watching a movie in a week, Gonzo, what's your next one?
I watched the series The Movies That Made Us. There's a new season, and this one is RoboCop, Coming to America, Aliens, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, the Friday the 13th was kind of interesting because they go, hey, Halloween happened, we're just going to copy all the genres from all the other horror movies. So the Halloween and Friday the 13th episode were just kind of meh. I really didn't care for them. The Nightmare on Elm Street was pretty neat because of all the stuff they had to do to get certain things to make it. Because they talked about, how the claw is now an iconic horror symbol and everything.
Absolutely.
And it was interesting to see them say stuff and this movie's going to flop. It's going to be a piece of shit. And of course it didn't. It set off how many fucking movies?
Yeah.
Coming to America was interesting because of the things they do. Because Coming to America was done differently. They were not predicting the snow in New York when they were filming it. It just happened. That the director and Eddie Murphy actually got into a physical fight on set type thing. But the RoboCop and Aliens one was really cool to listen to and hear, how it got made and the behind the scenes stuff.
Wait, the ones on the movies that I've actually seen, because spoiler, I've only seen those two movies out of that entire group.
Yeah. They were actually
the
best ones, beyond belief. It's really neat to listen to the RoboCop, and also Elf was another one, and I kind of.
Yeah, I'm actually so Marshall. I've only seen Elf once, but probably not all the way through in one sitting. Probably in like 2 or 3 sittings. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I watched Elf today, and I forgot to mark it down. I'm not an Elf fan, but the Aliens and.
Aliens and RoboCop are part of my upbringing, childhood.
Of course.
I saw RoboCop I saw both in theater, but I saw RoboCop in the theater. My mom took me to see that.
It was really interesting to see the behind the scenes of things that didn't work.
RoboCop was almost rated X for violence.
Yeah, they mentioned that in there, that they had to start cutting things down and clipping so many seconds out of a scene to get it from X to R. Aliens was interesting because they had to reshoot some scenes because one of the actors got arrested and fired.
Yes, James Remar was originally playing Hicks, but he got arrested and fired, and they replaced him with Michael Biehn, which I like James Remar. He's a great character actor, but Michael Bihn's fucking iconic.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff, they did have a tribute to, name's blanking, in Aliens that passed away. The actor. Oh my gosh! Now I'm stuck on it.
Has someone in Aliens passed away?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm
Well,
IMDb
what's
being real
his
quick.
name? And now I can picture him in my head, and I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
No, he's still alive.
No. Oh my gosh.
It was Game Over, man, right?
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah, Jesus Christ.
Bill Paxton. Bill
Yeah.
Paxton. Oh yeah.
Bill Paxton. Fucking, I
Bill
feel terrible
Paxton.
now. Hold on.
Yeah. They had a tribute
So-
for him, which was nice and sweet, and everything. And they had a little story about him and everything. There was just a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff about it. And Sigourney Weaver, that movie kind of set off the powerful female role in movies, and
About
they
fucking
talk about
time.
that. Yeah, and they kind of contribute that, and they say because originally Sigourney Weaver's character was supposed to be the timid type thing, and they were like, nah, we ain't going that way. Sigourney Weaver's going to be the kick-ass female like she was, and we're going to make her even badass now. And so it was a really good watch.
So having seen Alien reasonably recently and in the theater at that, she was a strong character in the first movie too.
Oh yeah, but I mean
She
in
was not
Aliens,
just some damsel in distress.
yeah, but in Aliens, it was really pushed out. So I really like that. If you like those type of things and like to see the behind the scenes, I definitely suggest watching The Coming to America, RoboCop, and Aliens. Out of all of those more than anything because they were really solid. The Nightmare on Elm Street was pretty cool, but the other ones were really, really interesting.
Well, in the chat, we're talking about the Man from U.N.C.L.E. update, which Joe Marshall has seen and recommended to me, and I want to see it, but I was waiting for it to be free. But maybe we all just need to bite the bullet and watch that next week.
Yeah,
Man,
I'm up for
where's
that.
it at? What's it on?
I mean, it's not free.
Probably Amazon Prime. You're paying for it, but you're only
Yeah.
paying like $3 or $4.
Oh yeah, I already have Amazon Prime.
Da, da, da.
So just to say, I mean, you really can't rank these in Space Herpes, but I suggest watching Aliens, RoboCop, and like Friday the 13th type thing because they're just good, solid.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
Fair enough.
John, what's your go happy?
My happy one, and I'm sure Marshall's a little surprised. He asked, I messaged him directly, let him know. I watched a movie from about 8 years ago, starring Tom Cruise, called Oblivion,
Oh, man.
I saw that in the theater.
which I never. Petey was supposed to loan to me, but never got a chance to. I really fucking enjoyed it.
Oh, it's
It
a
was
good movie.
good
Once I got
quality
past the Tom Cruise being in it, I
mean, I
liked
don't-
it.
I like Tom Cruise. I don't care. He can be crazy all he wants outside as long as he keeps acting as well as he does.
Okay, now I remember this. I had to Google it up. Okay, yep.
I enjoyed the crap out of it. It was very good sci-fi.
Very
I mean,
interesting
honestly,
sci-fi.
they sort of gave away that something was wrong during the trailers, and you could kind of guess what it was, but having the actual total reveal was cool, and I liked the way they presented it all. You didn't see all the stuff coming by any stretch.
Yeah,
But,
it wasn't predictable.
No, not really. I mean, like some of the points, like it's going to be something like this, and you're like, oh yeah, it was this, but no, I very much enjoyed the crap out of it. Just got good visuals, a good solid story, and very enjoyable acting and all. I mean, I would give it maybe one space herpy. There's a couple things of fridge logic in it, which if you guys don't know, fridge logic is where you're engaged in a movie, doesn't bother you, but later you're at the fridge getting a drink, you're like, wait a minute, that shit didn't make sense. But very much enjoyed it. I was just watching it. It is on HBO Max for free. So, and the funny thing is, I only watched it because I was watching a YouTube video by Black Rifle Coffee where veterans react to movies, and they were going to react to that. And I'm like, I haven't seen that. So I stopped and I'm like, hold on, let me grab my remote. And I asked Amazon for that movie, and it popped up HBO Max. I'm like, I have HBO Max. I'll watch it on Sunday. And I did. Enjoyable. Kathy, let's talk about your next one, which is also enjoyable.
I went back to my childhood. Well, I've seen this several times since,
Yeah.
but Smokey and the Bandit. I watched that today, and man, it's a nostalgia trip for me. It is such
Yeah.
a fun fun movie. It's ridiculous.
Yes. Burt Reynolds is just fucking on point through
And
pretty
Sally
much the
Field,
entire
I
thing.
kind of forgotten just how good she is in this too. And oh my God,
And
Sheriff Buford T. Justice, Jackie Gleason
Jackie
is
Gleason.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's a little tough at points to watch because the humor is dated. Let's say it
Yeah,
nicely
yeah,
dated.
it is.
Fair, Marshall. But yeah, I love that movie. I own it on Blu-ray, of course. Jerry Reed even does a good job, and he's not even an actor.
Yeah. I do not own it on any format. But that was the first PG movie I saw, not counting Star Wars, in the theater. And
Plus-
I'm sure it was really probably not appropriate for my age. But
There's nothing really terrible in it.
someone gave the finger.
I mean, and
When you're 8, it's a thing.
my family, in my family, that wasn't a thing. I mean, come on. I watched Terminator when it came out, and the next day in school, we were all telling each other, "Fuck you, asshole," because it was funny. Because we were 8. But I love the crap out of that movie. It is on point. Has a great theme song. Eastbound and Down is a great song.
I
Yep.
absolutely love it. That's on my road songs playlist.
To be honest, Jerry Reed is also a very good musician.
Mhm.
In addition to being a perfectly serviceable actor in this, it's just a fun movie. And Zenderboy brings a good point. Cannonball Run, that's another good set of fun movies. We don't get those anymore.
Yeah, I
Hal
haven't
Needham,
Cannonball
director,
Run
was
either.
actually a stuntman, but he just knew how to make the movie on point for that kind of thing. And the stunts are cool. Just enough cool car stuff. It gets to our inner rebel, man, bucket the system, because they're thirsty in Atlanta, but there's beer in Texarkana. He'll bring it home no matter what it takes. Well, I could ask. I'm sure I know the answer, but let's give you the chance to say it.
I mean, I'll absolutely say that there's at least one space herpy going on there. It is old, it is dated,
Hydrate.
but it's fun. If you're watching it with somebody that doesn't speak English as a first language, please put the English subtitles on for them, because they
be
won't
fair-
understand that southern accent, and the trucker lingo is like, what?
Huh?
To be honest, I watch everything with subtitles on, but yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and Marshall points out that Obsidian plot twist was good, okay, but not from Dusk Till Dawn. Which, right, that's a great plot twist. But hey, more on that when we watch that eventually.
I really need to rewatch From Dusk Till Dawn. It's been years.
I haven't seen it in a while. I have to yell at Norrin. He's still got my soundtrack for it. Marshall's just quoting it in there. That's great. Oh God. The funny thing is, I give the humor a lot of
German's
pass.
got nothing to do with it.
I give the humor a lot of
Germain
pass
to the situation.
because it's of the time, and none of it is hateful. Like, you're supposed to be going that Sheriff Buford Justice is a fucking idiot, and he's maybe not hatefully racist, but he's that old Southern old dude casually racist. He doesn't mean like he don't hate people for anything, but he's just one of those guys. Not really forgivable so much anymore, but he's not the protagonist. It's okay to not like him for that.
No, he's the guy who you hate, but he does
Yep.
such a good job of
So
being
funny. God. Those lines. He delivers them so well.
that.
Yes,
I
you
feel
hate him
like
on
at
purpose.
this point he almost became my favorite character just because of just how well he did. I mean, he was a terrible person.
But he played
He
it
did
so well.
well.
DC fandom.
Sure, we can talk about DC fandom.
So this
Part first.
this weekend, decent fandom kicked off, and they showed a bunch of trailers.
Yes.
Um,
And trailers and or early view just to remind you that the movie's coming out.
Yeah. So I sent y'all the one for Peacemaker.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Peacemaker?
Yeah.
Looks hilarious. I'll watch it.
Yeah, to me it looks like, and I don't want to say a clone, but it's got the comedy aspects of like a Deadpool movie in a way.
But it's coming from the Suicide Squad, which is already that style of movie. I think it
Correct.
fits.
The best way to compare it was think Deadpool comedy, and you've got what the feel that the show's going to be like. I'm interested in it. It looks fun.
Yeah.
I
It
laughed
looks
at a
fun.
few scenes. I didn't have an
I
issue
mean,
with it.
Honestly, John Cena is amusing as fuck throughout the entirety of the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, yeah.
And having him have his own series sounds fine.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be a lot of fun in this. I'm looking forward to it.
Fucking eagle. The fucking eagle.
He's hugging me. Get a camera. Can you get my camera?
Oh god, it's a little. Luckily, it tells out what it's going to be. It is absolutely stupid humor at points, but you know it's going to be that. So,
Yes.
thumbs up.
And that's what's supposed to be. You're not supposed to expect this great, acting career, Oscar-winning
Yeah.
performance. It's meant to be stupid comedy.
Oh, it's Thunder in Paradise. Yes, Sandra Warlord. It is kind of Thunder in Paradise.
So it looked fun. The new Flash trailer came out.
Let's talk about the movie trailers in different order.
Okay, go ahead. What you go for? I'll let you lead.
The Black Adam teaser trailer was interesting.
Yeah, it didn't show much,
cool.
but it was enough to
Yeah.
give you a tease.
Then the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Hell yeah.
I didn't see that trailer. I'll have to go back and look at that one. I only
Yeah.
saw the words of it.
Jason Momoa, good. They got Black Manta coming back. Same director. Awesome. It looks like it's going to be fun. Then the Batman trailer, Robert Pattinson. I'm down. That actually looks like it's going to be interesting. A little bit different take on Batman, but they all are now, and I'm okay with that.
Supposedly it's supposed to be like a year 2 Batman. Like Batman's already been around.
Yeah,
So we're
'cause
not going to have
the
to
Bat
do...
signal. They show that.
Yeah.
And then the guy who played Felix Leitner's playing Commissioner Gordon,
Oh, yeah.
just for Kathy. Felix Leitner from the newer Bonds. And then, God, what's his name? The guy who played Mocap. Andy Serkis is fucking Alfred?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's
Yeah.
So-
fun.
It looks like Riddler and probably Penguin are the baddies in it.
It is. There's supposed to be some Court of Owls in there that maybe they'll put into a sequel.
Yep.
But
Robert Pattinson looked convincing as Batman for the most part.
I'm interested in it. It is going to be a super dark take on Batman. Batman's
but
dark
it's
to begin
gonna
with.
it's like it's going to be dark, but not like,
Emo dark.
Yes, thank you. That's a fair way of putting it.
Yeah. And I like that they're doing a year 2, not a year 1 where he's learning to be Batman. He already is Batman. We don't need an origin story on Batman.
No, they've learned. I think that's the best thing Spider-Man: Homecoming did is they taught people you don't need a full fucking origin story.
Not every single time somebody makes a movie about it.
Then the Legion of Super Pets is animated. It looks
Yep.
like it's going to be funny. Up down. I literally was so upset when I didn't have the funds to buy enough from Night Models to get the Crypto model, but there's a line somewhere of like I cannot pay X amount just to get a Crypto model.
Yeah.
And then the big one, surprisingly, the Flash teaser trailer. 2 words: fuck and yes.
I was interested in it too. The Flash character is a really cool character, and I like who they have to play Flash.
That's
So
weird
it makes
because
it better.
I was kind of mad on him in the theatrical cut.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were some good points. I'm like, okay, fine. Now, in the Snyder cut, the first introduction to him, I'm like, no, someone stabbed him in the face. I hate him. But afterwards, he grew on you more, and he was much more interesting throughout the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was more of like an origin story for him because he was like, I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be doing. I want to be a
Save one
hero.
person.
How to be a hero? How do I be
Just save
a hero?
one person. You'll
Yeah.
know what to do that. That's a great moment in the regular one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward. And then, Michael Keaton.
Yep.
Michael Keaton Batman. And I think this is going to be a thing that sort of cements them and gets them a universe. I think that's what they're going for. And honestly, at this point, I think it's a fair play. They're at a point where they need to kind of revise some stuff, get some stuff out of their out of their timeline and just go forward.
Yeah, they need to. They
Yeah.
they need to bring it all in like one universe and get it together, so
Yes.
everything makes sense.
Yeah, because Aquaman is so clearly Wonder Woman is their best movie,
Yeah.
but it suffers a little bit in the third act. Aquaman is their most consistent movie and probably their second best. I hear Shazam is good. Haven't seen it.
It is. It is really good.
So, but then after that, the quality falls off. I don't hate Justice League. I think it's fine, but not great.
Yeah.
The same with the Snyder Cut. It's basically fine, but not great. And then it falls off a fucking cliff after that. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 1884 because the reviews were all so fucking terrible.
Oh yeah. They did say they're making a Wonder Woman 3.
Cool. I mean, I think they need to. You can't just stop because one movie was bad. Sometimes
Yep.
everyone, and honestly, in the new environment, especially DC, they're giving directors more control. And Wonder Woman, all the problems with Wonder Woman smacked of the executives nosing in and wanting to hit certain notes.
Yeah.
We'll see if that actually ends up being the case. But
The one thing that wasn't a movie, but the trailer for Gotham Knights, which is a video game where Batman's dead and you're playing, Batwoman, Red Hood, Robin, and Nightwing.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that because that looks like a ton of fun because it's a multiplayer game. You play with your friends online, and I'm like, yes, thank you. Let me play with my buddy, and he can play Robin, and I can play Nightwing, and we can just go and just beat the crap out of people in an open world. Yes, please, give me that.
So, Mo, to address your point that you're bitter about Michael Keaton because he quit the role because it would be just to be the Batman guy. That when he did that, that's a legitimate problem for an actor. He was known as the comedy guy. Then he got the Batman role. He wasn't going to get any other roles that weren't bad. He had to. I mean, I understand an actor for wanting to branch out. Let's be honest. His stuff since then has been exemplary, and I'm willing to give him a pass because, let's be honest, Michael Keaton's Batman and Joel Schumacher's, Batman and Batman Forever would not have made the movie any better. Might have made it worse. He's not really the right for him.
Oh,
Yeah, in Spider-Man, he was great.
Yeah, his Vulture, he was amazing.
Great as Vulture. It wasn't the same afterwards, but that's less to do with him, more to do with changing from Tim Burton's batshit crazy, pun intended, to Joel Schumacher's batshit crazy, still pun intended. They were totally different versions of crazy. And that's, I think, the biggest problem. That might be a good rewatch of the original, well, the second group of Batman movies, if you count Batman the movie. Anyways, we're over time.
We
I'm
are
sorry.
over time. We got started all in on the Batmans and all the DC stuff.
Batman's an important thing. It's sort of the exemplar of being able to retell a story of a character in different ways. It's become a modern mythology. Each time they redo it, it's a different way, and that's fine.
So maybe we have to have one time where we all watch all the Batman movies and rank all Batman movies.
No.
In a week
No.
might be rough.
No, not in a week.
Maybe 2 weeks. More likely, we should really have a Batman month.
Kathy's like, nah,
The
I'm
four
not in that.
original Batman movies. Not. We don't need
I'm
to
not
rewatch.
watching the what's the one with Mr. Freeze and
The George Clooney Batman.
I didn't like that.
Batman and Robin.
I never finished it the first time I watched it. That's how little I liked it.
Kathy, the primer for watching that movie is to watch a couple episodes of the old TV show and then watch that movie.
I enjoyed the old TV show, but
Bane and I will walk
Jesus.
downstairs and I will shank you.
Well, guys,
Gotcha.
we appreciate you coming and listening and joining us live. Don't forget, John does some MechWarrior streaming all week. I usually stream on Tuesdays. Haven't been able to do it on Fridays, even though I got it slated because work has been really hard. And, of course, preparing for this convention. But I will try to get some streaming in done. Don't forget to check out
I'm
Kathy
gonna
on
be-
her channel.
I could be streaming on Monday.
Oh,
I don't normally stream on Monday, but this is a Mix It Up Monday. It will be my first Mix It Up Monday, in which I will be just talking about mixing Reaper clear paints, the colors you can get from them, how to do it, answering questions about the clear paints. It's really more of a technical stream than
Oh,
a
that's cool.
specifically mini painting stream.
But after you're done, you can pop over to our channel and watch me play some Stompy Robots.
That's right.
Robot.
So, guys, be safe. Take care of yourself. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. We want to see you in HUDCon 2022, aka Adepticon. And we love you. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
Good night.
I might eat more biscuits.
We're going to send you off to Vlieger Dragon, so stick around for that.
I want a snack.
I
Oh,
wanna
that or
play
chili.
some video games.
What problem? I'm going to have chili out of a can and it's not going to compare to Marshall's chili.
Ah, I want a snack.